Good day, my Poke Adventures. So today, I just want to talk about my experience with Yellow Legacy. Overall, the experience was well. Pacing, that was awesome. You know, at in no point did I feel like I was under-leveled or over-leveled for things. Up until the end, like, all the level caps were fair. Maybe except for that Lieutenant Surge one. That one was... yeah, they threw you a curveball there. But other than that particular Lieutenant Cake fight, you know, I mean... yeah. Everything else I felt was pretty well paced and fair. One of the things I did like was all the little additions to the game. Like, extra dialogue. The Professor Oak fights, which were awesome. The inclusion of Jinx. And what I mean by Jinx is the one that you trade in Saffron City. I don't think that was in the original Pokemon Yellow. It may have been in Blue and Red maybe, but I'm not too sure about that. You know, fact check me on that. You know, comment down below for that. And let's see. Just the way that you went about getting the fossils were pretty cool too. You know, you choose one fossil, and then the other one, you know, you can get it down in Fuchsia City. So I mean, that was a pretty cool little thing. Whenever I ran across it, I'm like, huh, well, I know everything's included, so I wonder how they're gonna do that. So it's cool that, you know, you get one of the fossils, and then the other one you just get down in Saffron with one of the fishing guys. So, you know, I felt like that was pretty clever all over. What was nice was the inclusion of the sprites. In the original, you know, you only had like a few sprites, and, you know, that was kind of hard to tell, like, which Pokemon was which. I mean, especially if you go and you give them nicknames, sometimes, you know, you like, well, was it this or was it this, you know? So just having those individual sprites was awesome. The only thing I wish the game would have added probably was maybe, you know, having the other sprites follow you, kind of like the Pikachu sprite. Like, granted, I mean, I understand as to why, you know, it's called Pokemon Yellow, you know, so, you know, but it would have been cool to add, like, whichever Pokemon was in front as a, you know, to follow you around. But, like I said, I can understand, you know, they probably had a limitation of what they could do, so, you know, I mean, I guess just having Pikachu as a sprite will, you know, made the game more special, especially back in the day, because that was the first time that happened. And they did it back in Gen 1, so, you know, and then that didn't come back till, like, what, like, Heart Gold, Soul Silver? Not too sure about that, but again, you know, correct me in the comments or whatever. The one crazy thing that was added was the fact that Pikachu could learn every HM, and I do mean every HM, even HM Fly. Which, you know, honestly made no sense whatsoever, but it was pretty cool. But then again, I guess if you look at the opening screen, you see Pikachu with balloons, so I mean, imagination, I guess. And what's cool is the fact that he learned every HM, that means he also learned Surf. I didn't show it in-game because my Pikachu had died, but it's possible to go to the house down in Fuchsia City. Well, not in Fuchsia City, but the beach that's here in Fuchsia City. You just go south, and that little hut, in the original game, if you had a Pikachu that could surf, which the only way you could get a Pikachu like that was through like some sort of special event or giveaway or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So I just feel like it was cool that in this one, you know, if you just wanted to play that little mini game and see what it was about, you could do it in Yellow Legacy. So that was very much appreciated. It was just a cool little throw-in, you know what I mean? Another cool thing was that Gyarados could actually learn Fly in this one. So, I mean, that was pretty surprising, you know? I mean, it makes sense because in the later generations, you see him kind of like, I guess you could call it floating. And you see this in Pokemon Arceus. I haven't played the game, but I've seen gameplay of it and where it's floating. So, it's kind of cool to add that in Yellow Legacy that he can fly. You know, just for that particular reason right there. So, you know, not to mention, in the original games, I don't think he actually can learn a powerful flying move. I think he can learn maybe Gust, but I think that's about it, you know? Other than that, you know, I mean, Gyarados really didn't have no access to, you know, powerful flying moves. So, the toughest fight in the game for me, and what y'all witnessed, hands down, Giovanni. Oh my god, that battle kicked my ass. And I'm specifically talking about the Giovanni fight that happened in Silph Co. So, just for all you who are tuning in who hadn't seen that episode yet, I mean, go back and watch that so you see what I mean. I mean, there was nothing I could do. In the end, I had to finally come up with a strat that, you know, could potentially work. And as you seen, the strat I used was the double team strat. Again, I know. It's a very cheesy freaking strat, you know? I mean, but hey, you know, the way I see it is, I was being attacked while I was powering up, you know? Like, I could have easily been killed by a critical hit or something. So, the way I see it, hey, fair is fair. But yeah, man, did I struggle. I mean, that's the only person that I wiped out to. And it's funny because, you know, you would think that I would have wiped out to, like, either one of the gym leaders, I mean, specifically Sabrina, or one of the Elite Four members. I mean, that's who I would have expected to wipe out from. You know, not Silph Giovanni, you know? I mean, even his gym battle wasn't even that tough. I mean, I mopped the floor with him. I mean, that was like one of the easier gyms, you know? But oh no, not Silph Giovanni. I mean, he just trounced my ass. I ain't gonna lie. It was devastating to say the least. I mean, I was not expecting that. I mean, and what sucked is I didn't have that many good Pokemon, so what I had to do then was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to stop here. I'm gonna go down to Fuchsia City, you know, take my time, go to the Safari Zone, and catch Pokemon. So when I was there, I decided, you know what? There's 4 different zones, so what I can do is I can catch 4 different Pokemon since there's 4 different zones. You know, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because originally I was thinking, you know what? I'll just catch 1 here. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, there's 4 zones here, therefore it's 4 different places. Yes, it's all still the Safari Zone, but it's 4 different zones. So I thought, you know what? I desperately need Pokemon, and you know what? It seems fair enough, you know, Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4. So, yeah, 4 different zones, 4 different Pokemon, and, you know, it helped me out quite a bit. So, you know, I'm glad I decided that. Like I said, it could have gone either way, you know, I mean, I did a little research before that, and I seen people say, well, you know, it should only count for 1 because the whole thing's the Safari Zone, right? Okay, and then I seen other posts saying, you know what, you can do up to 4 because there's 4 different zones, which means, you know, it's like the routes, you know. So I'm like, you know what, I guess that makes sense too. So, you know, I mean, it's to everybody's discretion, but you know, just for where I was at in the game and the fact that I needed more Pokemon desperately at the time, I decided to go with the 4, you know. Maybe I shouldn't have, you know, maybe some of you may see it differently, but, you know, I mean, in the end, you basically make the rules, so, you know, I just thought, why not? Yeah, and the only other battle that I feel gave me the biggest headache was definitely Sabrina, the way, you know, she kept putting me to sleep. But in Generation 1, I mean, Psychic types are a menace, you know, I mean, they don't really have a weakness, and they're ultra shit powerful, you know what I mean? You got a Kadabra, you're set to go, you know? I mean, hell, top speed, you know, glass cannon, but I mean, if you can get those attacks out, and if you always strike first, which Kadabra can do easily, better if you have an Alakazam, but hey, you know, I mean, back then, you know, if you didn't have no friends to trade and you only had 1 copy, I mean, you had to do what you had to do, but, you know, you had a Kadabra, you could basically trounce the whole thing. And I've also seen people speedrun with just Mewtwo, you know, from the very beginning of it, and just no struggle whatsoever, you know, you can beat that game in under, like, 2 hours, I believe. I'm not too sure what the record is. Again, you know, go down and correct me in the comments and, you know, go look those videos up for yourself, but yeah, Psychics are king in Generation 1. But I would have to say that the MVP of this run was definitely my Snorlax. I mean, that sucker, devastating, you know, especially with the double team strat. Man, if I could get up to 6, and with Body Slam, oh, it's over. It's almost a guarantee 1-hit KO for just about anything. So I mean, that came in handy on the, you know, the final few big battles of the game. So, you know, I'm glad I had that one with me, and I'm glad it didn't die on me. And even if it did, I mean, I still had a backup Snorlax because I also kept the one that you caught on the cycling route. Can't remember which one of the 2 I caught first, but I decided, yeah, you know what? They're basically kind of like a special Pokemon. You can see them. You know, it's a static encounter. So I figured, you know what? May as well. I mean, I'm not too sure how you guys took to that. Whether you guys thought that was cheating or, you know, that went against the rules and all that. But like I said, you know, I mean, I did what I felt like was would be good for the run and all that. So, you know, and it never hurts to have a backup Snorlax, you know. So I would say the most devastating experience of this run wasn't actually in game. It was actually whenever I had lost the footage to the run. What had happened was I was going through and I was like, you know, like deleting stuff and, you know, just making room on my computer, and I guess somehow I ended up deleting the footage for it, and I could not recover it. I mean, I've tried several things. I've tried like recovery tools and whatnot, and just it was not appearing. And if it did, then it was too big for it to recover, or it just said it wasn't able to recover it because it was poor or whatever, you know. I guess the condition of it or whatever. So I'm like, well, nothing I can do here. I may as well just go ahead and do what I gotta do, you know, bite the bullet and just go ahead and play through the game again. So I mean, that's what I did, and you know, luckily we were at the tail end of it, so I mean, it wasn't too hard to get back to the tail end of it. So from there, I decided just to go ahead and you know, try and keep it as close and faithful as the first one. And like I said, I feel like I got everything right. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a few things I probably missed, or a few things that weren't right, but I got it close to the original as possible. So, you know, but like I said, it was already at the tail end of it. So at that point, I've already played through the game. It was just, you know, a few more fights, and I thought, it'll be fine. Especially if there's just minor differences. Like I said, I mean, I kept most of the Pokemon that was on the team intact. So, yeah, that was the most devastating thing about this right here. It wasn't actually the run itself, so, you know, pretty funny. So I learned a few things. Make backups. Always have at least one backup on a different disc or a USB or whatever, you know. But yeah, that's one thing I learned. Backups. So 34 deaths. That's quite a bit, actually. I'm not gonna lie. When I first started, and what I was thinking was like, I'm pretty decent at Pokemon games. I don't think I'll lose that many, you know. And this will be my first Nuzlocke. I mean, I'm thinking maybe, I kind of highballed it too. I'm like, I think I'll have about 20 deaths. Oh no, that really blew my expectations right there. I'm like, I am not good at this. I thought it was decent, you know. And you know, like I said, this is my first Nuzlocke. You know, I decided to do my first Nuzlocke live just to see what it was. And you know, me going into it, I kind of went in with thinking that I got this. You know, it can't be that hard. I've seen plenty of Nuzlockes. I know the do's and don'ts of it. You know, I got this. I got this. You got this, Dracula. No, I did not. Apparently, it's a lot different than what you see on, you know, other YouTube videos and all that. You know, your own experiences and whatnot. It's strategizing and what you're gonna do and what happens if something goes wrong. Well, anything and everything happened to me on this run, so yeah. Lesson learned. I feel like I was humbled, because a lot of Nuzlockers will tell you, oh man, you know, just go in with a clear head, you know, don't get too big for your britches, because if you do, you're gonna be cruising for a bruising, and you're gonna be disappointed in the end. So yeah, but at least the one caveat I can say is the fact that is that it didn't take me more than one attempt. I got it all in one attempt, so yay me, you know. Didn't have to reset from the beginning, nothing, just bam 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 bam, you know. Did wipe out once, but I didn't lose everybody. So yeah, like I said, one attempt, so everything came up Dracula. So what did I learn from this, and what am I going to be taking with me on my next Nuzlocke? Well, for one, I learned that you should always level up your Pokemon to the max level cap. Doesn't matter, you know, if you don't get no experience from it, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Always level up to the max, or close to the max level cap. Or if not, you know, one level down. So yeah, so that was one of the important ones. Don't rush into things. Take your time and strategize, you know. That's also another important one. And if that strategy doesn't come up, always have a backup one, and always have multiple teams, you know, like, you know, just sit down, look at your Pokemon, and see, okay, well, this one can learn this, this, and that. This one can learn this, this, and that. This one has coverage typers here. This one does not. So it's a lot of strategizing, basically. You know, I mean, when it comes down to it, that's basically the basis of it. Is stop, take a beat, strategize. You know, don't rush into it. Don't think, you know, like that you can go in half-cocked and you're gonna come out in the end. No, sometimes it's gonna cost you. And like I said, look at that Giovanni fight. You know, I mean, I went in thinking, hey, I got it. You know, it's just Giovanni. No, nasty freaking surprise, and the one you at least expect is the one that, you know, I lost to. Another example, kind of like whenever I faced that kid with Eradicate. You know, I wasn't expecting that. That sucker took down a good portion of my team. What was it, like 3 or 4 Pokemon? I'd have to go back and look at the video, but yeah, 3 or 4 Pokemon that he took down, and that was just some random freaking trainer. You know, I wasn't expecting that. That came out of left field. You know, I was basically trouncing everybody on that route. I mean, I took everybody out, but when I got down to that kid, bam, like, surprise, mother trucker. So, I think I previously stated, like, maybe on the first episode, or, you know, sometime during, you know, my run, but I will be going and I will be playing Crystal Legacy. So that is going to be a thing. It's going to continue. I'm hoping that, you know, life doesn't get in the way, or, you know, that I'll still be able to upload. I'll try and keep it the same, you know, keep it to up to 2 uploads a week if I can. And if I can't, well, you know, I mean, I'll figure something out, but, you know, I'll at least try and get 2 a week like I did with this run. And because I love all of you, yes, all of my audience, yes, even you, little Timmy. I'm just kidding, I don't know a little Timmy. Just a little joke, but no, because I love you guys. Yeah, here's a small preview of the layout for Crystal Legacy. Here you go. Isn't that nice? I'm personally sick and tired of seeing yellow, so, you know, seeing all kinds of color of blue is going to be nice for a while, you know. I don't think I can look at yellow for quite a long time, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, but I hope you like it, you know, I mean, a bit more updated, looks a lot cleaner, you know, there's more going on. So yeah, I mean, I hope you guys like that layout. So, you guys are probably wondering, so is that all you got going on, you know, just Pokemon Crystal Legacy? And, to your surprise, no, that is not all. As a matter of fact, I was talking to my best buddy, you know who you are, shout out to you, much love, man. But he was telling me that, hey, you know, you're doing this, why don't you stream? I'm like, you know what, yeah, that does sound pretty cool. So yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, streaming, that's gonna be a thing. And heck, if he wants to join me, you know, he can, you know, accompany on some of my journeys whenever I'm streaming or whatever, you know. I mean, I did buy Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, so, you know, we could play on our downtime, you know. So if he's down to clown, you know, he can join me on that. We can call it something funny like Best Buddies Play or something like that, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'll have to ask him, you know, he's a pretty busy guy, so yeah, we shall see on that. What I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to stream at least once a week. And no, it's not going to be Pokemon, it'll be like other things, like, you know, it could be like Vampire Survivor, Darkest Dungeon, you know, and I could either choose something, or if not, what I could do is, you know, I could make a little poll in the community chat, and, you know, you guys can choose what I play next, you know, give me some game recommendations, or I can list out some games that I already have that, hey, you know what, do a gameplay of this. So I think that would be pretty cool. I'm not too sure when the streams are going to start. I'm hoping they'll start sometime soon. I already know what game I'm going to play. No, I'm not going to say here. You guys are just going to have to stay tuned for that. You know, I can't give you all my secrets, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'll make an announcement on the community page for that. So, you know, keep an eye out for that and any other announcements that are going to come through the pipeline. With all that said, thank you for watching the video. I've had a blast playing Pokemon Yellow Legacy. Thank you for joining me on the journey. You know, much love. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video whenever I start Crystal Legacy, or whenever one of my streams hits. You know, whichever happens first. But until then, you know, it's Draco Pendragon here, wishing you a good day. Be kind to one another, have mutual respect for each other and people's opinions, and get to pitter and pattern and get the hell out of here. You know, you got better things to do than to watch me. I know you love me, and I love you. But yeah, go take care of business. Alright, go on. Yeah, donkey. Yeah.